Hello everyone and welcome to Nervous Nessie. This is video number 2 in our road trip series where I tell some bad stories about things that happened while we went on road trips. In the last video, I was pretty young when my family went on the road trip. Now let's fast forward a couple of years later. My parents decided to buy a new minivan. We had had a car for many years that fit all of us, but as us kids were getting older and bigger, we needed a lot more room. So my parents decided to purchase a minivan. And it was their very first minivan. They found one that they liked, and then they decided, all right, we have this brand new car, let's go on a road trip. And this road trip was kind of a short one. A lot of times we would go to the beach, but it did take several hours to get there since we didn't live close to the beach. And so we were driving to the beach in this brand new minivan. Now, like I said in the last video, if you live in the South in the United States, a lot of times it rains. And it happened to be raining while we were driving to the beach. So as we're driving and it's raining, I'm in the back of the minivan. I'm sitting in the back seat and I am hearing this dripping sound. And I turn around and look over my shoulder only to see water pouring into this minivan in the back of the van. So I yell up to my parents and I say, hey, there's water coming in. And at first they weren't sure what was going on. They were like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, really, there's a waterfall behind my head. And behind the back seat in this minivan is all of our luggage, and the luggage is getting soaking wet. So my parents pulled over at a gas station. That way they were underneath an awning. They get out and realize, in fact, what was going on. So they're like, what are we gonna do? Like, we have this brand new vehicle, water's pouring in, what are we going to do? So they ended up going to a local store and buying garbage bags. And they took all of our luggage and put them in garbage bags and sealed them. And then they had brought their own beach blankets. Where we were staying, they had towels in the hotel room, but they didn't have beach blankets. So they brought their own beach blankets for us to have at the beach. They took out the beach blankets and laid it down to where that would absorb most of the water on top of the luggage that was inside the garbage bags. And we went on to our trip, had a good time, and of course we had to dry off some of the stuff when we got to the hotel, but we were hoping and praying that it didn't rain again on the way back. While we were at the beach one day, my dad took the minivan to a local dealer of the same brand. So I don't remember what the brand of the minivan was, but whichever car brand it was, he went to a local dealer and said, hey, we had water pouring in on the way down here. Can you fix this today? Because if it rains during our trip or on the way back home, we're gonna have the same problem. And they were able to get it in and get it fixed. Turns out the seal around the back doors, because at that time minivans had 2 doors that opened instead of the one that lifted up, and they were able to fix that seal that went around the doors. That way, if it rained again, we wouldn't have to worry about it. But it was a little bit of drama on the way to the trip because a waterfall magically appeared in the back of the van and got all of our stuff soaking wet. But I wanted to share this with all of you. That way, if you get a new vehicle and you decide to go on a road trip, you might want to wait a little bit and test it with the elements to make sure that you're not going to have any problems while you're on the road. It's not a good idea to buy a vehicle and then immediately take it on a road trip because you don't know what could happen. Things can happen in transport of the vehicle from the manufacturer to the dealership, and you don't want to be stuck with some kind of mechanical problem or anything else wrong with the vehicle while you're on vacation. Or something that's really bad that it's going to take up your entire vacation trying to get the vehicle fixed. So think about that before you just buy a vehicle and go on vacation. Don't want that to happen to you. I hope this video gives you some insight into what to think about before going on a vacation when it comes to a road trip, and if you want to buy a new vehicle or not. It may not be worth it. You might want to just wait until you get back or postpone your trip to make sure that your vehicle is in working order. And if you like this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you would like to know when the next road trip video comes out, then subscribe. If you've had any kind of mechanical issues with cars when you've been on a road trip, feel free to leave those in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the next video. Bye!